Um, Hello, my name is Jaqueline Franco, and I will be presenting the introduction to our topic, along with some key facts that will help set the foundation for our presentation.
Hi, my name is Jessica Benson, and I'll be talking about the causes of food waste and the overall global economic costs of food waste.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Kimball, and I will be presenting the environmental impact of food waste and the solutions at the consumer level to reduce food waste.
Hello, my name is Bethany Blair, and I'll be talking about corporate and industry responsibility, as well as government policies that work.
Hi, my name is Sydney James, and I'll be talking about global benefits of saving food from food waste and things that we can personally do to help mitigate food waste.
I want to start off by asking you to think about something simple, food. Not a fancy meal or takeout, just everyday food you cook at home, keep in the fridge, or pack for lunch. Now, think about this. Have you ever thrown away food that didn't look appetizing anymore? Or let a bunch of bananas go brown because you forgot about them? Most of us have, and it probably didn't seem like a big deal. A small moment in a busy day. But what if tossing food was part of something much bigger? Something that impacts not just our kitchens, but our communities, our economy, and people we may never meet. The truth is, it's easy to overlook food waste because it often happens in small, quiet ways. But collectively, those actions add up, and the problem runs deeper than most of us realize. That's why our presentation today is titled Food Waste Reduction, a global responsibility to combat hunger. Because whether you're a student, a parent, a business owner, or a policymaker, we all have a role to play. More importantly, we all have the power to make a change. On the next slide, we'll explore some facts that put this issue into perspective and show just how widespread food waste really is. Food is being lost in huge amounts all over the world, but this isn't just about food waste. When food is wasted, everything that went into making it is lost too. The water used to grow it, the hands that helped create it, the energy used to move it, and the material used to protect it. All of this is wasted. To understand how serious this issue is, we have to start with the numbers. If you look at the graph on the left, it shows something shocking. 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted each year. That's about 1/3 of all the food made globally. At the same time, nearly a billion people go to bed hungry. What's even harder to believe is that the food being lost could actually feed 2 billion people, more than twice the number of those who don't have enough food to eat. Now, take a look at the image on the right. It's a powerful metaphor. A massive mountain made entirely out of food waste, with people lining up around it. It shows the strange truth that while some have more than enough, others struggle just to survive. And this waste isn't only spoiled leftovers, it also includes good food that never gets used. Sometimes because it doesn't look right, it's close to a date label, or there's just too much of it. So even if it doesn't seem like a big deal, food is disappearing in many ways, and it all adds up. But the issue isn't about the lost food. Each time this happens, we're also losing time, effort, and natural resources needed to create this. That means it's not just about the food being thrown away. It's a huge loss of valuable resources. A chance to help those who truly need it. On the next slide, we'll take a closer look at how this problem affects people and how it connects to hunger and unfairness around the world. Now, let's think about the human side of the issue. Over 820 million people around the world go to bed hungry every night. That's about 1 in 9 people, as shown in the top image. People of all ages barely have enough food to even meet basic nutritional needs. In many places, kids go to school hungry, families survive on one meal. Yet, as seen in the bottom image on the right, massive amounts of food are being dumped into trash bins every single day. That's the ethical dilemma. There is no global shortage of food. In fact, we have the resources and capability to feed everyone, and still millions continue to suffer from hunger. This isn't just something happening far away. Look at the center image. These faces could be anyone, anywhere. Even here in the US, 1 in 9 households do not have enough food. At the same time, food is tossed out in grocery stores, restaurants, schools, and our homes. It's heartbreaking. While one person throws away a full plate, another wonders where their next meal will come from. This isn't just about the way things are done, it's about doing the right thing. Up next, we'll explore where the food waste starts and the economic cost.
So what actually causes food waste? So starting from a farmer's perspective, it all starts with consumers, right? Consumers want and need food and produce. And so strategically, or what we think is strategically, we make all this food and farmers grow all this food, and sometimes it's an overproduction of food. And so farmers are eventually wasting that food or throwing it out. It's growing moldy, or as Jaqueline mentioned, cosmetics. If it doesn't look appealing to the eye, consumers are most likely not going to buy it. Retailers are not going to sell it. And so farmers just kind of toss it to the side. And as far as like factories and production goes, it's the same with cosmetics there too. If it doesn't look appealing, they're going to toss it out. And that's just not with produce. If something doesn't come out of a machine the exact way it's supposed to be, they're going to toss it out. And same with transportation. If that's not stored, if the food's not stored properly, or during bumpy rides and the produce gets bruised or something like that, they also throw that food away. Restaurants and retails, again, the overproduction of food is huge, and it's because they think consumers are going to buy all this food, or they're planning on consumers just having that if they need it, but consumers don't actually buy all this stuff. And so restaurants are making a ton of food, and then at the end of the day, they have to throw all this food out when that could easily be given to someone else to eat. And retailers are stocking shelves so much, and they're relying on these labels that, the used by best date labels, and they'll throw out foods that go past that date, even though they're perfectly fine foods to eat. And same with consumers. We rely on those dates pretty heavily. I know I, for a fact, have looked at my gallon of milk, and the sell by date, I go by that date, and if it's past it, I'm risk drinking it. But I smell it and it's still fine, yet there's something in my brain that's just like, I shouldn't drink this because the date says. And so it's little things like that that are really making us waste a ton of food that could be going to really good causes. And now I'm going to talk about the economic costs of food waste. So I love this little picture on the side because it gives you such a good picture of just how much money is getting lost. 1 trillion per year. That is a ton of money. That could be going to helping starving people and other great causes. Instead, it's getting used to waste food, which makes absolutely no logical sense at all. And so the World Bank actually estimates that a 1% reduction in food loss could generate over $40 million per year. That's a ton of money that could be going to really great causes. And the average U.S. family of 4 wastes about $1,500 per year in uneaten food. And so this is an issue that really needs to be solved because there's tons of starving people out there that could have really used that $1 trillion.
Okay, in this slide, I will be talking about the environmental impact of food waste. According to an article from the United Nations of Climate Change, it talks about how food loss and waste are responsible for 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions, which is nearly 5 times the total emissions from the aviation sector. And to kind of put that into perspective, if food waste were a country, it would be the 3rd largest greenhouse gas emissions, and then it would be followed by China and the United States. This significant contribution to emissions comes from multiple stages of the food supply chain. When we waste food, we also waste the resources used in its production, like water, energy, and labor. And in addition to this, when food decomposes in landfills, it produces methane, which is a greenhouse gas that is over 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide in the process of trapping heat in the atmosphere. And this chart that I made here kind of shows the comparison between emissions from food waste and other major industries like aviation, shipping, and buildings. And it also shows the major impact of food waste or of food that is thrown away. And I think understanding this impact shows the importance of addressing food waste and how it affects our planet, and also how critical of an issue it is in fighting climate change. And then the next slide, I'll be talking about the solutions at the consumer level to reduce this issue of food waste. As consumers, we have the power to make a big difference through just doing our daily habits. And I made a checklist shown on this slide of the most effective strategies that help reduce food waste. So for one, meal planning. So before shopping, just plan your meals for the week and kind of create a shopping list. And this can help in purchasing only what you need for the week, which reduces the likelihood of food going bad before it's used, which tends to happen a lot more than it should in almost every household. And then next is proper storage. It's important to understand how to store different types of food because it can make certain foods last longer. So for example, like keeping apples in the fridge can make them not go bad as fast, while stuff like potatoes should be stored in a cool, dark place. And then for number 3, just understanding expiration labels. Many consumers misinterpret the sell-by and use-by dates, which can lead to throwing away perfectly edible food before it even goes bad. And learning the meaning of these labels can prevent unnecessary waste. And then number 4 is utilizing leftovers. You can get creative with leftovers by adding them into new meals and just figuring out other uses for them, since a lot of leftovers get thrown out after just a couple days. So for example, like a roasted vegetables can be added into soups or salads, and leftover meat can be used in stuff like sandwiches or stir fries. And then lastly, at number 5, it's important to choose products that might look ugly. So for example, fruits and vegetables with minor flaws are normally just as nutritious as normal looking fruits and vegetables. They just never get chosen because people want the food to look prettier. And then they end up just going bad. And then choosing these foods can reduce the amount of food thrown out solely just due to its appearance. So overall, hopefully this just inspires you to take steps in starting to limit the amount of food you waste, even if you do just start out small, and are able to just check a few of these items off, and to just be more mindful of the food that you waste. And I think by doing all these strategies, not only do we contribute to environmental conservation, but we also save money and promote a more sustainable food system. And yeah.
Okay, so food waste is a serious issue, and businesses have the power to make a difference. Supermarkets and restaurants generate a significant amount of waste, much of which is perfectly edible food. Instead of discarding surplus, companies can improve inventory practices and donate food to those who need it. One company leading the way in waste reduction is Costco. They've successfully minimized waste through several initiatives, including reducing plastic packaging, so particularly for their Kirkland signature brand, optimizing inventory management, ensuring less surplus and unnecessary waste, implementing a 5-year action plan to phase out single-use plastics and focus on sustainability. Other corporations can follow Costco's leads by adopting similar waste reduction strategies. They can donate surplus food to charities, refine inventory forecasting, and integrate sustainability into their operations to create long-term impact. Retail giants like Tesco and Walmart have also made strides in reducing food waste. Tesco improved waste management by refining inventory forecasts and donating surplus food to charities, while Walmart implemented real-time tracking of perishable products to redistribute excess food rather than discarding it. While companies play a crucial role, government policies provide the necessary foundation to enforce large-scale food waste reduction efforts, which is what I'll be talking about on the next slide. So some companies have stepped up by introducing laws that make food waste reduction a legal priority. France and Italy are leading examples of how policies can drive meaningful change. In 2016, France passed the Loi Garrett, also known as the Garot Law. This legislation bans supermarkets from throwing away unsold but edible food and requires them to donate it to charities instead. Businesses that fail to comply face fines, ensuring accountability and participation. Italy also has taken action by introducing tax incentives to encourage food donations. Additionally, they've streamlined procedures, making it easier for businesses to participate in food waste reduction initiatives without unnecessary red tape. When corporate responsibility and government policies work together, food waste can be significantly reduced. Companies like Costco, Walmart, and Tesco are proving that business-driven sustainability is possible, while countries like France and Italy are settling legal standards to ensure change happens at a larger scale. It's time for more businesses and policymakers to follow these examples. If companies refine inventory practices and governments enforce donation laws, we can move toward a system where food is used responsibly rather than wasted.
I love
In our
what
ongoing
Bethany
series, The
said
Future
and
of
how
Food, supported in part by the Pulitzer Center, we explore the problem of excess food waste and one country's potential solution. Author and contributor Mark Bittman has more.
1/3 of the food produced in the world rots in the field, in transport, or simply thrown away. This is obviously not only a massive waste of food, it's also a big contributor to global warming, because as it decomposes in landfills, it releases methane. One country is doing something about food waste. NewsHour Weekend special correspondent Christopher Livesay reports from Paris.
Take food seriously. The country is famous for its bread, pastries, pâtés, and other delicacies. Lunch is so
everyone can watch that on their own if they are interested in what France is doing personally, which I think is a super cool idea, and I think the US could definitely learn something about that. I'm going to speak on global benefits of helping not waste so much food. Obviously, there's a positive impact on the environment because you're not releasing so many greenhouse emissions, because it is 8 to 10% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. One way that I have personally seen people help mitigate the issue is composting your leftover food or food that does go bad. I know that they make trash cans that do this, and it's like a compost in the trash can, and it seals the smelling as well, because rotting food never smells good. And you can buy that and put it in your home, and that's like another way you personally can help mitigate food waste. And then things you can do to help, kind of like Cynthia said, you can shop and plan your meals. Don't just buy something because it looks good. Like, if you're not going to use it, don't buy it. And support companies that care. I know Chick-fil-A is making a lot of efforts as well, like Costco and Walmart, to help reduce food waste. And I hope that this presentation has left everyone with ideas and inspiration to do better on wasting food. And thank you for your guys' time.